Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Sal here, back again with another reaction video, and today, Warframe development report, Oberon. Now, you guys are liking these. I'm liking these. I'm enjoying them. Sorry this one's come out a little bit later in the day. If I'm correct, I should have scheduled this for about 6 PM on the Friday. Reason being, yesterday, which would have actually been the 10th, because it's the 11th today when I'm recording this, was my birthday. So I'm 25 now. I'm getting older. I'm getting way older. Way older. But yeah, yesterday was my birthday, February 10th, which was awesome. And you may have noticed some slight differences. We got a new webcam, so the quality here at least should be better. Okay, it should be better. So yeah, that's good. That is really good. And actually, I think it might be a little bit skew with. No, I think we're good. But it has autofocus. It's just great. It's just a lot better than what we had before. I think my old webcam was a 2012 model. This one's a 2016 model. So, you know, not the most recent of webcams, but to be honest, for quality-wise, this is all I need. I don't need anything more without using my A7 III, my 4K camera, which we are going to start using more, by the way, for more reaction videos. I just need to still figure out how I'm going to set it up and incorporate it with the screens I have and bits and pieces, but that is a much more higher quality camera. It's just it takes a lot longer to edit the footage down and join it all together. This is fine, right? This does the job. We're at a higher quality, 1080p 30 frames per second on this one, and 720 at 60 frames, when before my old one was 720 at 30 frames, and that was it. So you should see some differences. I hope you see some differences anyway. But what are you all here for? You're here for the Warframe development report, of course. Oberon. I don't remember Oberon's profile. I'm sure maybe I'll start to recognize it when we go through it. But yeah, I can't wait to check this one out. Let's get straight into it. Let's make sure we are on the top quality we can be. I always like to do that, even if we're not going to be seeing much. It's mostly audio. But let's have a look, shall we?
Commencing entry. Oh, I got it right the first time. That's an improvement. Hello. This is Lethar, a comedian and chosen historian under the Great Council of Seven. The purpose of these activities is to annotate whatever is deemed critical for our heirs to know about Orokin technological advances and history. As such, registering all given tasks by the Council in a Vitruvian format are the optimum choice, as the Vitruvian is genetically coded to function for only those of a pure Orokin bloodline. However, the Council, as always, retains the right to redact any portions of recorded information they consider to be unnecessary for unauthorized individuals to know. In these instances, those of proper standing must simply follow the instructions as stated in... Contrary to what some think, not all Warframes were crafted for the sole purpose of conflict. Science is what drives us, and we cannot learn without growing, and we cannot grow if we cannot be willing to exchange something in return, whether it be blood or time. For instance, some Warframes were designed to meet a very specific purpose, and some were designed purely because of scientific circumstances. One of these such Warframes is Oberon, one of our most ancient platforms, who will be the subject of today's discussion. File number: Uniform Oscar Papa Foxtrot Tech 017. Designation: Oberon. Countless generations ago, the Empire set out in order to conquer the stars because old Earth was no longer sustainable. Unification under the Empire came at great cost. Billions slaughtered, civilizations eliminated, and entire land masses ravaged. Although a large-scale reconstruction project for the entire planet was initially attempted, this ultimately failed, as too many lives were being lost to the world that became a hellscape. With no other option, the Empire took flight across the system over the centuries, leaving settlements wherever life was supported. and eliminating any and all civilizations found, regardless if hostile or not.
Oh.
Not all circumstances were deemed necessary to record, as some territories were under our control in a matter of days, if not hours. One exception to this would be the first deployment of the Frost Warframe onto the dwarf planet Pluto, which sparked the beginning of what would be known today as the Purge of Pluto. Eventually, support for the reclamation of Earth grew until it was decided that a survey vessel would be dispatched back to Earth, carrying a hazardous response and cleanup team and a handful of volunteer scientists. Upon arrival, the team was astounded to learn that, although the radiation measurements throughout the environment were at moderate levels, life had been reborn on old Earth.
Oh.
Trees and flora flourished where there was once nothing. Ruins of old Earth civilizations became buried under the earth or simply consumed by nature over time. Even local organisms were spotted, signifying that the planet's wildlife and vegetation had obtained some level of resistance to the radioactive atmosphere. It was incredible. The hazardous response team was successful in capturing and safely storing samples of any and all...
I presume Oberon is more of a life Warframe? Just going off the fact that he's wielding a butterfly there, maybe most of his abilities are to do with nature. Are these wings as well? Are these like meant to be butterfly wings? Is this part of Sayandana? I don't know. But clearly he has ties to Earth, given so far what we've heard in the backstory. I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm sure we'll find out. I mean, we've got another, 10 minutes? Another 10 minutes? So.
All living species which could be transported without specific requirements. Upon learning of this miraculous discovery, the Council of Seven ordered for more vessels to be loaded up and taken to old Earth, as the Council had developed a sudden interest in establishing small outposts throughout the planet, which could eventually be built up into research stations. However, even though equipment to protect against the dangerous radiation was available, the wildlife would pose a potential threat, especially any wildlife not yet discovered. A shepherd was needed to watch and protect the flock of Orokin sheep who would
Oh, that was smooth. A shepherd is needed for the Orokin sheep. Hold on, let me go back. I'm sorry, I don't know why I found that so cool, but...
Upon learning of this miraculous discovery, the Council of Seven ordered for more vessels to be loaded up and taken to old Earth, as the Council had developed a sudden interest in establishing small outposts throughout the planet, which could eventually be built up into research stations. However, even though equipment to protect against the dangerous radiation was available, the wildlife would pose a potential threat, especially any wildlife not yet discovered. A shepherd was needed to watch and protect the flock of Orokin sheep who would otherwise...
I really like that. So he's there. Interesting. So he's been told to go and, I guess, cull the wildlife, or bring numbers down of the wildlife, or protect the Orokin sheep, which are obviously the Orokin people. That's pretty neat, but it's strange. Unless Oberon is meant to bring a balance to nature, maybe? Like he's still a nature Warframe, I think? I don't know, I'm not 100%. But given literally, this is all I'm going by. This is literally all I'm going by. The fact we're talking about Earth, Oberon's holding a butterfly. Got a butterfly Sayandana, which might be an Archwing, who knows. And he has this staff, which could be seen as a shepherd's staff, in a way. I don't know whether they would create a Warframe for the sole purpose of destroying fauna, though. Maybe.
Surely meet their end on old Earth. And so, Oberon was born.
Oh, maybe so then.
Designed with the sole purpose to ward off potential predators or hostile wildlife. Oberon was explicitly given horn-like protrusions on his helmet in order for dangerous organisms to recognize him as the alpha male after any possible conflict with Oberon.
I feel like the horns could be a bit more alpha, a bit bigger, maybe. I think the odd deer might have bigger horns than you, Oberon, and that's not an insult. It's just like a deer might try to throw hands with you because of his horns are pretty weak.
However, Oberon was not intended to possess a fearsome appearance to all life on old Earth, as it was almost certain that eventually some species would be captured and domesticated. In order to future-proof Oberon, he was given the ability to influence any non-combative organisms with odorless pheromones. These pheromones would alter the mind of the afflicted animal, causing them to recognize Oberon not as an enemy, but as a master. However, the pheromones only succeed against wildlife that does not already have aggressive behavior towards Oberon. Emotions can change how the brain works, even for a dumb animal. Given that this was the first time we were dealing with domestication instead of eradication of wildlife, it's kind of surprising we could produce these results. Upon recognizing Oberon as a master, the pheromones would then reinforce the muscular structure of the organism, becoming stronger and more resilient. Oberon was decreed not just to be the guardian of old Earth, but also the master of its life. Attribute number 1. Exude. Although local wildlife were resistant to the lingering radiation, they were not totally immune. As such, Oberon was outfitted with a selectively permeable outer layer, which would allow him to absorb any and all radioactive particles within his surroundings and morph them into different radioactive isotopes. After testing on much of the local wildlife, it was concluded that Hesium-269 was the best option, as it does not last long in the environment, meaning that cleanup is hardly required. As an added touch, Oberon can combine his gathered radioactive material and imbue it with the essence of the void.
Sorry,
made possible
still testing out the webcam
because of the operator. If need be, Oberon may generate and instantaneously blast an enemy within its line of sight with a void-altered strain of Hesium-269. The sheer force is enough to knock down his target, and upon contact, the radioactive blast will break apart into smaller particles, which will seek out the nearest entities which Oberon considers to be hostile. Of course, targets struck by Hesium-269 become victim to radiation poisoning, losing control of cognitive functions and rationality. Oberon can share this potency with his squad if the infusion supplementary module is active. Attribute number 2. Terrain. In the world of beasts, it is sometimes necessary to mark your territory. Oberon is no different. At his discretion, Oberon may create a field of ionizing radiation which lingers for some time. This field in particular is capable of shifting through the electromagnetic spectrum, and because this entails a perpetually wavering electron-volt measurement, each field conjured by Oberon can protect all non-hostile entities within the boundaries of the field from any and all elementally charged attacks, while at the same time damaging hostile targets, but in a much less lethal dosage compared to his exude attribute. For instance, magnetic particles which come into contact with this field will lose its charge almost immediately, thanks in part to being essentially diffused by the field's ionizing radiation. As an alternative option, Oberon may equip the Eruption module, which restricts Oberon into being able to cast one field, but in exchange slows down the decaying process of the radioactive field, doubling its duration. Additionally, Oberon may detonate the field at any time he wishes, immediately destroying all lingering particles and damaging whatever foe is standing within the field. Admittedly, this module is a bit old-fashioned and doesn't see much favor from operators. This has been forwarded to the engineering department for recommended overhaul. Attribute number 3. Analeptic. Naturally, there is always the potential for loss of life. Oberon is no exception. With limited medical resources available during the early days of old Earth exploration, every little supply shipment mattered. Given that, one of Oberon's notable talents is his power to regenerate living tissue. Although dosing standard humanoids with radiation still has several health-related complications, Oberon can virtually eliminate any potential risks by blending all generated Hesium-269 with his standard energy supply. Upon need, Oberon unleashes a radial wave which, upon contact with friendly targets, begins reconstruction, capable of reversing damage from even at the cellular level within seconds. Although not as powerful as radiation therapy, this variation persists for technically an infinite amount of time, so long as Oberon himself has the energy to maintain this healing process, meaning that as long as the radio wave strikes all living team members at once, Oberon has no need to stay close by, as the healing process itself is independent. Activating the radio wave while standing within the confines of a terrain field enhances the wave itself, increasing the defenses of all struck allies at no additional energy consumption. Another shining aspect of Oberon is his Phoenix module. The Phoenix module has the unique capability to reverse immediate death, which is accomplished first when a target suffers enough damage. Once this is reached, all active Hesium-269 particles immediately burst, applying an instant but small boost to tissue regeneration. After bursting, all active particles fluctuate at such a rapid frequency that all incoming harm is essentially negated, thereby granting its target a maximum of 5 seconds to either run or correct themselves. Any longer is impossible without causing the Hesium-269 to explode, eliminating all living beings around the area.
Wow.
It is important to note that the Phoenix module cannot be activated multiple times in rapid succession.
I should hope not,
as the Hesium-269 particles require time to adjust back to regular fluctuations. Additionally, the Phoenix module itself is affected by power-enhancing modules, allowing any operator to increase the amount of health given by the burst. Attribute number 4. Punishment. Oberon possesses built-in dosimeters, being able to detect any and all living things with at least 10 milligrams of radiation, which on a planet like old Earth effectively meant a passive radar. With this, once Oberon recognizes that multiple hostile targets are within close proximity, he may directly manipulate their particles via void energy interference. To the normal bystander, this may appear as some form of telekinesis. All creatures identified as hostile are violently hoisted and thrown back down with enough force that the minimum amount of radiation each target passively has detonates in a fragmentary method.
Oh wow.
Due to the presence of raw void energy with this radioactive maneuver, all affected targets become temporarily blinded, and any who are already under the effects of Hesium-269 or any other radioactive particles take additional damage. Should any entity die in this way, there is a probability that their very life essence will be quite literally blown out of their very own body, becoming a convenient source of sustenance for Oberon or any other friendly. The hallowed alteration is available, which causes all targets struck by punishment to release microfields similar to that of terrain. Although smaller, these microfields possess a more advanced strain of Hesium-269, being capable of increasing the durability of all allied organisms, while also afflicting enemies at a much higher interval than terrain, despite being significantly smaller. Strength-enhancing and energy cost reduction modules are of high priority on Oberon, as the right modifications allow the operator to maintain analeptic for virtually an infinite amount of time. Regardless, that will finish up this recording. Praise be the Empire.
I do like these. I really do.
And source of
the only, and I think some of you agreed with me on the frost reaction. Back on the frost reaction, I loved every single bit of it right up until we started going into the details and the attributes of the Warframe. And I think you guys have probably noticed when it kind of gets to that bit, I kind of zone out a little bit. It's not exactly being absorbed by myself. It's not going in, so to speak. I don't know why. I think it's because, again, I'm so committed to the story up until that point. And I love that bit, by the way, that when it gets to here, although, yes, it's a development report. Oh no, I've said this in the past. yes, they have their place in the videos, and I agree that in a way, I don't know if I do agree whether they should be there or not. I mean, I know a development report I feel should be of the Warframe, its story, right, which he's done amazingly with. Like, I fully support that, and the story so far, the artwork, the thumbnails, everything that's come out of it, beautiful, right, perfect. And then you get to the attributes, and although, I don't know, I just feel as if there could have been a story to each attribute, or somehow entice the attribute into the story, if that makes sense, without listing it as 1, 2, 3 and 4. Because I just turn off. I don't know if it's the same with you guys, I just turn off. I imagine some of you might have even fast forwarded the attributes because 1, you already know them, or 2, it just rails on. So I'll leave it in your court. Do you want me to, when I react to these from now on, do you want me to react to just a story and leave out the attributes entirely, or do you want me to react to the whole video? It's completely up to you guys. I don't mind either way. It's just I don't want you to feel as if I'm not taking much notice or not really absorbing the attributes. Maybe it is just me. Maybe I just need to shut up, grow up, and fucking watch them and proper pay attention. But I just find, I don't know, because it's not information that I need to know now. Not until I'm using the Warframe, or I have the Warframe, and I won't have that until I go in game and play it, at which point I'm going to look through the abilities anyway. Hopefully you guys know what I mean, and I'm sorry if it comes across a bit rude, but I don't know. I just don't want you guys watching me not bored. Bored's not the right word, but not reacting to it because 1, I don't really understand it all. 2, I'm not using the frame. 3, I don't know, I just don't feel it should be there. I love the videos, but I don't know, it's weird, it's strange. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this reaction to the Oberon Warframe development report. We got a few others to get through. I'm going to try and do one every single day. I know I said it during the Frost one, I said I'll do one every single day. We're still going to keep at it, we're still going to do them. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to get one out every single day at the moment, because I've got so much to do currently. You may have noticed I haven't been replying or acknowledging comments. I've literally, the last couple of days have been mad. I've had so many comments across really old videos, like videos that have been like a year or 2 years old, to the most recent one, which was the Frost one, the Half-Life 2 video, which you guys killed in the comments. I mean, so many comments. I need to go through them all with a fine-tooth comb. I put an hour, 2 hours aside to go through all the comments on my channel, reply and acknowledge every single one. So hopefully that should be done by the end of the 11th. Hopefully you would have got a reply or an acknowledgement by that time. Yeah, I don't really like not replying or acknowledging you guys' comments because you are my community. You know, I love the community, I love the vibe, I love all the information. It's awesome. I just need to reply to them. But they come thick and fast, guys. I love it. Obviously, comment on this video as well. Absolutely, leave a like if you did like the video. And yeah, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers, and I appreciate every single one of you. Hope you've enjoyed, as I've already said, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.